Hello everybody, it's Capcorgi. I wanted to give my first impressions, thoughts, all kind of coalesced and everything for Monster Hunter Wilds, and give you what my thoughts are for the game, for the value, for the is it as good as other Monster Hunters, and everything in between. Basically, all of my thoughts for this game. Game is loading in the background, so I can show you some gameplay as we are discussing it. Now, first of all, just as a little bit of a history for me, I have played only Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise. So I started playing Monster Hunter in about 2021. So I'm not the newest person. There's a lot of people that are just joining with Wilds, which is really cool. This seems to be like a big breaking point for the series for lots of people to enter at the same time as their first Monster Hunter game. That might be one of the best things that this game does, by the way. Spoiler alert. But I'm not one of the oldest players either. There are people that have been playing since Monster Hunter was on PS3. I'm certainly not one of those, so I'm a bit of a middle ground here, and we're going to get into it. So what do I think of Monster Hunter Wilds? I think that the game is a generally and genuinely positive experience. I think it's a very, very fun game, and the moment-to-moment gameplay of the game is the best part of the game. Now, I don't think this is all roses. I don't think it's all pros. This will be a very balanced review. First impressions review. Probably, maybe too much detail for a first impressions, but I've only played this game, as you can see, 11 hours. So 11, 12 hours. I've done some online, and I've done mostly online, but a little bit offline as well. Messing around with, during the beta and during, the previous playtest was, I tried, all of the weapons a little bit. Though I've stuck mostly with gun and gun. So heavy bowgun and light bowgun, because they're very silly. But I've done a lot of sword and shield as well. I made various different weapons throughout World and Rise, bow, many other kinds. So first of all, let's get into it. The actual moment-to-moment gameplay is an absolute boatload of fun. When you're fighting a monster is where this game shines. Let's see if I can go on a quick hunt.
As soon as possible. Are you all set on supplies?
Oh no, this is for a main quest. Let's not do that. let's not do that. I want to do a chill quest so I can show you what the moment gameplay is as we are playing it. Let's do the let's just do a I need a crest from one of these dogs. I call them dogs. Okay. So, can I no longer do it? Okay, so, yeah, you can no longer do it. You have to actually find them on the map, because this is, the more open world thing. True. My mistake. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is fast travel all the way to the forest. I've only uncovered 2 of the worlds so far. Filter icons, monster threat relevant, fast travel list. Base camp. Yep, that's the one. How do I fast travel here? Or am I already here? This is a little confusing and actually delves into, we're gonna start with a con. The menu in this game is absolutely the worst menu from any Monster Hunter, pretty much ever. And it's, not even close. Having played World, having played Rise, I feel like those menus were a lot more user-friendly. And that is easily one of my big gripes for this, which is very sad. Yeah, so in order to do anything fast travel, It's a whole bunch of button presses. If you try to invite people to, you know, join your gameplay, you have to do like 5 different steps. You have to link party, you have to do this, you have to do that. It's so silly because, like, dude, all of Monster Hunter, the best part of Monster Hunter is when you're just playing with your friends and like goofing around and having a good time, which is what this game does really well. But getting to that point, being able to do that easily is definitely its own major issue.
We should all depart together.
What? What? Oh, I guess that's for... I guess this is for the quest as well. So that means I can't go this way at all unless I'm doing the quest. Nice. Anyways, so sorry about that. So various parts of this game are really, really good. The graphics of this game is a bit of a mixed bag. So the graphics themselves are very pretty, you know, if you are able to run the game. And that's the big if. The game is extremely, extremely rough to run. And if you don't have a, if you're on PS5, I think you're pretty okay. I have a few members of my community that have PS5, and they haven't had too many issues with that. But if you have a PC, then you really need to be careful on login vouchers. They kind of give it that like little like live service style layer by doing all these things, but that's okay. If you are playing on a PC, I am running a 4070. And I'm on the... actually, this is the third map. So, right, there's the forest, there's the desert that you start in, and now there's this, like, you know, hot area, volcanoes and fire and explosions and shit like that. And really cool environments, by the way. Like, look at this environment. Environment looks absolutely dope. You're, like, in an ancient forge made out of stone and everything. However, I've noticed that as the game goes on, from the desert to the forest, now to the forge, I don't know about beyond this, but at least so far, this game's FPS drops off a cliff. Right now I'm pretty okay, I'm pretty stable, I'm not fighting a monster or anything like that. But as the action ramps up on a 4070, I've had frame drops in cinematics and out of cinematics with frame gen and medium to high settings. Some are medium, some are high. I've tweaked the settings so it looks good enough for stream and for YouTube, while also, you know, being more playable. With those things in mind, I sometimes drop down to like freaking 40 FPS, sometimes even 30 FPS. It's actually crazy, and with artifacting. Obviously, there's no artifacting right now, which is a W. That's good. I don't want there to be artifacting. But we've had artifacting in this level more than any other. Yeah, it's been extremely brutal for that. Extremely brutal for that. The performance and optimization of this game is easily one of the biggest L's for this entire game. An otherwise great game by Capcom being marred by very, very poor, you know, optimization and poor performance. Let me bring it up. This is why, and it's most people playing this game. This is why that an otherwise great game is only sitting at 57. Yesterday it was 53% positive ratings on Steam. Now, this is not an issue that people have with the quality of the game. This is an issue people have wanting to play the actual game. They're not able to play the actual game. Oh my god. Okay, I just wanted to go shoot a monster, but I guess I can't do that. I guess we're not allowed. Maybe if I track a monster. Is there a monster on the map? No. No. You see, this is the convoluted menu right here. But yeah. Usually, like, you can just go out in the world and just start shooting animals, and such, but, I guess for some reason we can't really do that here. But yeah, I don't want to... I'm going to do an optional quest, and maybe that'll allow me to leave this, this town without continuing... Like, hopefully that's the case. Hopefully that's the case. Here we go. Giving me a bad feeling... the other L for this game, and I'm not, like, I'm just starting out with the more rough parts, is that the characters and storyline, it makes it really, really annoying in between the fights. This might be the worst storyline experience of Monster Hunter in all of the Monster Hunters I played, mainly because I never really care about the Monster Hunter I never really care about the Monster Hunter story that much. It's very tropey, it's very silly, you don't really care about the characters. We always find an alpha wyvern or an alpha monster or something like that ends up being like the big bad, and you know, by the power of friendship we can take it on. It's always that storyline. So if you like that storyline, if you don't mind it, it's the exact same as it is here, at least so far. I don't really expect it to change. So far, it has not changed. We're going to fight a gorilla. I think it's the fart gorilla, which is one of my favorite monsters because of how wacky it is. Now, this actually showcases one of my favorite parts of this game. They've made certain bits of this, like, so much easier. So, you know, you have this claw that extends out like 50,000 meters. And you can grab items when you're auto-walking. I'm not moving my mouse or anything, or my controller or anything. My little raptor is basically how you move around the map, and this will take you everywhere. It'll take you everywhere. It'll be really, really easy to take you everywhere as well. So huge W, and when you do so, all you can do is just, you know, hold left trigger down, or, you know, R2. Sorry, L2. And you can grab things on the map as you're going. Just press B, and you yoink, and you make mega potions automatically, so on and so forth. It's really, really, really clean for that. Yeah, they added a little, like, waypoint system, so that's pretty cool as well. The Sacred is a very weird name, but that is your little raptor bird. Pretty good, pretty cool, pretty nifty. And I'm gonna show the moment-to-moment gameplay, because this is where the game shines. I don't really want to you know, talk about L's too much, because it's a good game. Like, I don't want people to get the wrong impression. I like the game. There's only, like, I would say 3 significant downsides. Maybe 4 significant downsides. But, you know, those don't really compare to how good the game is in gameplay. So, very, very responsive gameplay. This was a problem in the beta with certain weapons, where it kind of felt like a little too slow with certain weapons. People were complaining about hit stop, which is a mechanic in this game, and how it was tuned differently than Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise. But all of that is fixed, because this game is supremely fun in the moment-to-moment gameplay, and very, very reactive for using items, for using, you know, weapons, for using explosions, for using the environmental mechanics. But the issue is, say I wanted to use a weapon. I have to, use a weapon. Say I want to use an item. I just got blighted by the fart, or whatever. So I have to hold down LB, I have to go like this all throughout, or I have to use one of the loadouts up here. And so I am pressing, like, literally left stick, left bumper, right stick to move things around, left stick to move, X to move things in my bottom hotbar. I'm pressing, like, 7 different things. This is not something I had to do in previous Monster Hunters. And it's so silly. This is unnecessary, man. This is really, really, really unnecessary. And it makes it really hard and slows down the otherwise great gameplay of the game. Oh, I just got farted on. He's like a flatulence monster. It's actually wacky. One of the best parts of this game is the monster design. Like, the monster design, people were complaining that there's too few monsters. I don't really mind that. I didn't play Monster Hunter World at launch. However, I did play Rise at launch. And Rise didn't have that many monsters at launch either. So I don't expect Capcom to be able to do everything. You know, like, the fact that we have, you know, unique different monsters, different archetypes, and you know, all of them have different mechanics, that's a big W. That's a really, really good thing. I just got stomped on. I'm not playing particularly well because I'm focused on talking to you guys and not, like, playing. So I want you guys to know, normally I'm a lot cleaner. I promise. But yeah, the hitting, the shooting, the jumping, all feel really, really smooth as long as you're not messing with a whole bunch of menus. So if you don't have to worry about, you know, blights or whatever, then it feels a lot better. If you have to struggle, you know, pulling out like demon drugs or healing drinks or you know, dung pods or whatever, then it is a lot less smooth, because then you're just like pressing too many buttons, you feel like. And that is a giant issue with the game, and that is like a UI issue, that's a menu issue, and that is something. Oh right, I can't heal. That's all right. We'll be alive. I'll just have to focus a little bit. But yeah, so that's the other L that I started talking about was the storyline for the game. The storyline is as goofy and as dumb as previous Monster Hunters. The problem is, in this Monster Hunter, you have to wait like hours in order to play the freaking game, compared to previous Monster Hunters. Like, it is like so much discussion and exposition with characters that you do not care about. And you're just like, I just want to shoot monsters. Like, why are you talking to me for 45 minutes and, you know, forcing me in cutscenes? Like you saw when I was, like, trying to show you guys a monster in the really cool area that I just unlocked. I couldn't, because I had to do the main storyline. And every time I tried to leave the town, he's like, oh, you got to talk to Alma. You got to do it this way. I don't want to do it this way. Like, I just want to shoot the freaking monsters, man. It's like this is what the game's all about. And this is a thing in every Monster Hunter game, so I'm not knocking this game for that reason. But what the problem is with this game is it's much more forced upon you. You literally are stuck. You know, doing certain things in certain areas and stuff. You're literally in a whole bunch of discussions with characters that you particularly don't care about. We're gonna try to see if I can spawn some dudes over here. This, there it is, yoink. So I think this works as a trap. I never used it. Do they home in on him? Ah, they do. I never used this. Ah, look at that. So this is another really big W. Like I said, the moment-to-moment gameplay is really cool. One of the really cool things that you find in this game are the huge environmental things. This is something that was in World and in Rise to a lesser extent. But in this game, it's much more intuitive, much more focused on it, where the game is like, hey, you want to really use the environment to your advantage. We're going to put rocks everywhere. We're going to put glaciers everywhere. We're going to put, like, you know, these little traps with, you know, little other monsters. There's little raptors that can come around and attack the monster for you as well. You know, herds of other things that can get in the way of the monsters and mess with them. And, you know, there's, of course, the mainstay, the flash flies and all of those. So you can do all of these little tricks to really fight the monsters to your advantage. Huge W. Again, the moment-to-moment gameplay is the best part of the game. The weapon archetypes are also really cool. You know, they did lower the mechanical prowess of the heavy bowgun and light bowgun, which was a sad part for me. But, you know, some weapons are going to win out with a new game. Some weapons are going to lose out in the new game. And most of the weapons did pretty well. Like, most people are that are mains of other weapons are quite happy with the vast majority of the weapons that they're using. You know, longsword was so strong in the beta, they had to kind of nerf it. It was really good, though. The bow was so strong they had to nerf it because, you know, it was otherwise extremely good. So generally, it's because things were too good that they had to, like, tone it down a little bit in the beta. But but most weapons had mechanics added. The light bowgun and heavy bowgun didn't really have too many things added, so that was kind of a sad part because these are two of my favorite weapons. But your mileage will vary. It really depends on what weapons you use and what things you want to use and enjoy. Not a huge issue for me. Not a huge issue for me because I've been using a little bit of everything. Sword and Shield had a whole bunch of things added, and the fighting feels smoother than ever. And one of the reasons is a big mechanic that was added in this game compared to others. When I press left trigger, I go into this, which is called focus mode. For melee, it'll kind of, like, you know, darken the screen stuff. It looks a little different. But what it does is you're able to automatically target the wounds. Wounds are the new mechanic in this game. So how it works is very, very simple. Anytime you're shooting monsters, these little red bright areas will pop up. And if you are using there's sometimes special attacks to be able to attack these wounds. For certain weapons, they only show up when you're using your targeting screen, by the way. And if you're in melee, it's really smooth because the movement in melee will kind of work like an auto lock, where you kind of lock into the wounds. And you'll kind of like when you're dancing around with your evade and so on and so forth. Oh shit, he woke up. When you're kind of dancing around with the evade and so on and so forth, it'll literally make it extremely, extremely easy to move towards and target towards the thing. Hold on, let me see if I can capture him. I never tried the capturing in this. I think he's low enough. Come on over, conga line. Come on, baby. Come on. I want to. I've never seen. We have the trank bomb ready. So if he comes over here, yes, yeah, and you know you want it. You know you want it. There it is. There it is. Okay, so X and X. There it is. All right, we never did that. That's pretty cool. I love it. It's been our first trap. Usually I just kill the monster. I know how to trap, obviously, but usually I just kill the monster because, the blood. Blood is good, and I like getting blood from my enemies. But, regardless, the wound system makes the movement, it kind of delves into the movement as well. So you're really, really able to move smoothly in the fights with melee, which was, definitely a bit of a hard point in the moment-to-moment gameplay in previous games. Sometimes it felt a little clunky. You used to need to use tricks or sheath your weapon constantly in order to move around the monster, depending on the weapon. Certain weapons were very agile. Sword and shield, very agile. Dual blades, which I played a lot of, very agile, but you go to hammer, you go to greatsword, much less agile weapons. The wound system and the way it targets the wounds and how your character tries to go towards the wounds and tries to swipe towards the wounds makes that so much better. So they basically not only added mechanics to all melee weapons, which is really cool, but also they dealt with one of the most major pain points of previous games, the movement and all of those things, targeting movement for melee weapons. So it got like double layered buffs. So it feels really good to play. And like I said, the moment-to-moment gameplay, extremely, extremely smooth. The mechanics for heavy bowgun and light bowgun, they added some things, like you now have the Gatling mode, which is really cool. It looks really cool, feels really cool. You feel like a god when you're using it. And then afterwards, you just have nothing. So it's just like, okay, your guns feel a lot more limited as well. In terms of now, you have your hyper mode. Every gun has a hyper mode, and the hyper modes are various types. So you need to match the hyper mode with the gun that you want, as well as, and only certain ones have certain ones, as well as certain ammo types can only be used with certain guns, which is the same as previous, but now you have to add the type of ignition mode, they call it the ignition mode, onto the things that you're determining which gun you want. And so now I've run across a problem where, at least for heavy and light bowgun, there's many bowguns which have more damage, more raw damage, but it doesn't use the ammo types I like, or the ignition mode is not the type that I want. There's one where it's like you slope down, you shoot really slowly and stuff, and it makes you a big target. Really hard for solo play. So I tried to go for the Gatling gun mode. The Gatling gun mode is not on the strongest guns that are in my gameplay right now, so I'm using a weaker gun in order to be able to use the Gatling gun mode. Very annoying. Very annoying. And maybe there's a way to change that, but I wouldn't know because the menu system is so convoluted. So the small issues kind of compound upon each other, but the really big glowing parts of the moment-to-moment gameplay also compound upon on each other. So it's very, very high highs and some smaller issues that kind of mess with the game all throughout the entire game, at least in my gameplay so far. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, but like I said, mostly positive. The small issues get really annoying because they permeate throughout every part of the game. But the moment-to-moment gameplay is so freaking good that it might be the best of any Monster Hunter that I've ever played out of World and Rise. The hub system and the system of like meeting other hunters and so on is interesting. It's pretty good in some ways, but very annoying in others. Like I said, it's really hard to bring your friends into a game. And I would recommend before you play with your friends, sadly, it kind of feels like everyone needs to just finish the story mode, which is long, onerous, and annoying. And very, very dumb. And it's like kind of after that, it makes it a lot more open for you to be able to like meet up with your friends, attack them, attack monsters with them, join quests with them. But you kind of have to be all in this same group and such. Otherwise, people will have to watch cutscenes. That kind of issue is always there. And has always been there for previous Monster Hunters. And is probably always going to be there for Monster Hunters. Very, very, very silly. And unnecessary L's. Unnecessary L's. The last L, I talked about this with optimization, but wanted to bring it up again. One of the biggest problems with the optimization being so poor is that it's so unnecessary. The reason is that, I'll bring it up. I'm not making this up. I've covered this before, because Capcom does this more than a lot of companies, which is very, very sad. So, Capcom's fiscal year-end date is March, end of March. So basically, if a game ever comes out before March ends, if it comes out in the month of March or the month of February, you can pretty much be assured that Capcom is rushing out the game in order to hit their fiscal year-end. And that is exactly what they did here. This is exactly what they did with Dragon's Dogma 2, and it shows. There's a reason that the farther you get in the game, the worse the performance gets, because they focused on optimizing the beginning of the game much more than the end of the game. There's an absolute lack of optimization on PC in pretty much every single format, which is why so many people are having issues with the game and rating it so low, considering how good the game is. And so it's just like a very gigantic L for no reason. I shouldn't say that. It's not for no reason. The reason is very simple. The reason is greed. They wanted to make sure their the fiscal line, their shareholder line goes up. Problem with many game companies. And so unnecessary. They're probably going to be working on some patches. I feel like they're going to get out the patches faster than they did for Dragon's Dogma for optimization. At least I can hope, because, reminder, for anyone who didn't have, whoever had Dragon's Dogma on PC, Dragon's Dogma 2, and had optimization issues, of which it had many, we didn't get a real optimization patch for that game for 6 months. I don't think that'll be the case here. So if you are on the fence, or if your computer is a lower-end computer, say a graphics card in the 3080s, 3060, 3070, or something like that, I would say wait until they have a good optimization pass, and then buy the game. Otherwise, you'll have to use minimal textures, the game will look like absolute dog, and will still run like absolute dog. One of the big problems is it's not really an issue with the... People are thinking it's an issue with the game engine, and I think the game engine does affect it, but I don't really think that's the major culprit here. I'll talk about this. I'll make a video just about these issues in general, and there's another video that I covered, which were my worries before the game came out. Spoiler alert, even though I got a lot of hate from the Capcom community, I was correct in every single statement that I made in that video. That is exactly what came to pass. Sadly, I didn't want this to be the case. I wanted this game to be as polished as we would expect from a company the size of Capcom, which is a almost $10 billion company, to be able to, put out one of their biggest properties in a finished state, and so we can all enjoy it and have a great time and not have to, see a 53% positive rating on Steam. for a game with gameplay this good. There shouldn't be so many big L's. It's very silly. Yeah, that's a major issue. The other issue, which is not really a negative to me, but it is a mixed bag. So if you are a previous player of Monster Hunter, if you played Monster Hunter World or Rise heavily, you will find the difficulty in this game to be much easier to start. Now, apparently at endgame gets a lot harder. That's great, but endgame always gets harder, so whatever. But the curve is much more skewed to bring in new players. I personally think this is a good thing. However, it is a noticeable difficulty drop-off. So far, everything that I've faced, unless I'm like doing something dumb, like not pressing my potions on purpose just to see how long I can push it or whatever, I don't cart ever. And, you know, none of the monsters feel particularly difficult, at least in this mode. Obviously, I'm still low ranked and everything like that. I'm Hunter rank 3. Only played for, 15 hours or so. But, I played extensively in the beta as well. Same issue happened there, where the monsters were quite easy, except for the big old lightning dragon, which is like the special monster in this game. But yeah, that's a gigantic issue for some people. A lot of people are like, "Oh my God, the game is so easy. I hate it." Blah blah. I don't think that's the thing to say, because Capcom is doing this on purpose, and it's a design decision to make the game open to new players and to make the early game curve much more smoother. You're not fighting a Rathalos or Rathian in Monster Hunter World, which will like two-shot you or whatever. You're not fighting those at the beginning of the game in this game like you were in Monster Hunter World. You're not, dealing with the jump mechanics in Monster Hunter Rise, which was a big thing, but it was like a complicated thing. You're dealing with the wound system, which is much more intuitive. So the difficulty curve much easier. So if you are worried about the difficulty level of Monster Hunter Wilds because you played World and Rise and you were like, it's a little too difficult for me, at least at the beginning of the game, and then it smooths out later, this is the opposite. It's much easier early, much harder later, apparently. I don't know about the later, but so far I've had 0 problems, and I'm no Monster Hunter god. I got all the way to Elatrion and World and had a great time, through the DLC and everything like that. Fought, the big alpha monsters, the golden monkey guy who's like, Super Saiyan monkey shooting Kamehamehas and stuff. Really cool monsters. Those were difficult, we've had challenge curves, difficulty spikes in the early game, the first 10 hours for World and Rise. We don't have those here. I think this is a good thing, but your mileage may vary. I just wanted to give you a complete and big discussion about that, so you can choose your own decision and figure out, is this the game for you, is this not. I would say that this is a great game for beginners to Monster Hunter, for sure. Like, for an entry level, if you have a PS5 or if you have a really strong computer and this is your first Monster Hunter game, you're gonna love this game. Like, it's a really fun game, and the moment-to-moment gameplay is the smoothest, except for the UI, which is a huge issue, the smoothest it's been ever. Better than World, better than Rise, in that way. And it's not even close. Melee weapons, better than World, better than Rise, not even close. Range weapons, mileage may vary, but that's okay. There's only 3 range weapons. Most people don't even use the range weapons, and when they see me using the America build, which is gun and gun, people are like, you're a gun player. So there's a little bit of that. I don't care. I play everything. I was playing Longsword as well and having a great time with that. It's just a fun game. But anyways, that's my thoughts in a nutshell. A little bit rambly, but I wanted to give you guys my big thoughts. Huge W's and a couple of compounding L's that really affect the player experience in several different ways that feel incredibly unnecessary. Forcing people into the storylines, completely unnecessary. We just want to hunt monsters. And it's so much more intrusive. Sometimes the characters are talking for like 10-15 minutes. Why? I don't care about these characters. They're not even well-written characters. No one cares about these characters. Now, they look cool. That's true. And there's like a little couple of Easter eggs. Like everyone thinks the big like chief guy who gives you your assignment in this game is the Lancer from I think it's 4E from Monster Hunter 4E and stuff. From that, he's like the Alpha Chad who's using the lance in that game. So a couple of little Easter eggs in there, which is really cool as well. I don't really know about these, but I had friends that were excited telling me about it. I'm like, yeah, that's nice. I like that. I like that. So there's a lot of love put into many aspects of this game. Optimization is not one of them. UI is not one of them. So keep that in mind. Very big, drastic L's in those ways. But generally, if you can run this game, buy this game. That's what I would say. Brass tacks, the biggest issue is the optimization. Everything else you can kind of deal with and hope for like, smoothing out of patches or whatever. But yeah, if you have a 4060, 4070, 4080 or higher, you can feel rest assured that you'll be able to probably play this game pretty decently and have a great time. At 4070, I have issues still, but it's playable and I can still enjoy it. And it doesn't detract enough for me to negatively rate this game. And I can say that I love this game, but I hate that Capcom decided to not finish the optimization in the same breath. Like, you should be allowed to say that. And this brings me into my fourth L. It's not a major L, but it is definitely something that I've noticed. Anytime you say negative things about Capcom players, people who live and breathe this game series and live and breathe Capcom games in general, will come out of the woodwork to like throw terrible slurs at you and shit like that. Like, if you're watching this and you're one of those people, guys, I love this game, I'm recommending this game. Calm the fuck down. It is ridiculous that the game community for this game is so rabid. And if you don't believe me, you can go to any of my videos talking about the issues of this or Dragon's Dogma 2, or you can go to any of the videos that are made by Digital Foundry or Luke Stevens or any other commentators and content creators talking about the very real issues of the optimization of this game. And they're getting undue hate all the time, like crazy, for what amounts to actual facts. It's very silly. Definitely, that has been a very sour part. But that's not Capcom's fault. That is the community's fault. So just tell your friends if they're like that to be better. But yeah, the other issue is an issue, but this is just something I wanted to point out. Capcom has got a Capcom. And anytime Capcom comes out with a new game these days, they also come out with DLCs, which are borderline useless, but also cost a lot of money. Now, you don't really need any of these DLCs, and I would recommend you don't buy any of them. I got a package, so that's why I have these. I have not used any of these, like literally none of these, and I don't care. But it is annoying that, Capcom is going to do this thing where they want to make their line go up and, take advantage of anyone who is, pressing the add all DLC to cart button or whatever, not looking at it, not paying attention, and then they pay another $65. Now, you could call this a stupid tax, but I think it's stupid for Capcom to do this. Other games that are extremely high quality don't do this. Baldur's Gate 3 did not do this. Elden Ring did not do this. And Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which just came out, did not do this. Why? Because they don't have shareholders that they have to cater to in order to make the line go up. And this is definitely a problem that permeates a lot of things with Capcom. It lends into the optimization issue that I talked about before. Very similar vein. And it's unnecessary. Doesn't need to happen. Shouldn't happen. And I just wanted to call that out. Capcom should not have done this. Is it a major issue? Will it detract from gameplay? No. No one will ever look at those DLCs, nor should they. However, it's dumb that it's there. So I just wanted to point that out. Anyways, those are my thoughts. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you guys agree with me? Disagree? Are you having fun with Wilds like I am? Are you having major issues with Wilds, with optimization and graphics, also like I am? Or are you just having a great time? What weapon are you using? What is your favorite monster? So far, probably Fart Monster is one of my favorites, but there's in this little, big smoky, oily area, this volcano-ish area, There's a really cool rock monster that shoots blasts, and he kind of like uses wrestling moves. He's my favorite character so far. He's my favorite monster so far. So I would say those. I forgot his name, but yeah, those are my 2 favorite monsters so far. But let me know yours in the comments below. I would love to see what weapons you're using, and definitely hop on over to Capcorgi on Twitch. We're playing live every night. We got drops. This is a great time. And we're still enjoying the game, you know, and I just hope that the game gets better and better and better, and I hope that they keep adding patches with, you know, optimization, fixing the issues, hopefully fixing the UI. I think that'll be a harder issue to fix, because sadly, you know, Monster Hunter players are used to terrible UIs, so they kind of just eat this, and it's unnecessary to eat this, in my opinion. But it is what it is. Generally, very good experience. If you can run this game, if you feel like you can run this game, play this game. And I'll give a more detailed video on the graphic issues with this game. I think it deserves its own video, so I'll talk about that in another video as well, so keep an eye out for that. But we also will be probably doing a guide for heavy bowgun and light bowgun, because I think those are like 2 of the least played weapons in the game. So I think it might be a lot of fun to create a little guide for you guys. There's not really that much to know, but there's some little interesting nuances and such that I think are very helpful. And probably Sword and Shield as well, because I tried Sword and Shield for a hunt last night, and I'm still like a Sword and Shield god. Like, it still feels good, it's still a great weapon, and it's a lot of fun to use. So maybe that'll be useful. If you guys want those, definitely let me know that in the comments below as well. But in the meantime, I'm going back to Monster for Wilds, man. I'm going to hunt some monsters. Have a great night, and thank you so much for enjoying this video. Take care.